Hi class 6, good morning. How are you guys doing? I hope you all are doing good and doing fine, full of energy and all. So we are on that same book again, my English folder, and it's page 25. We have done Father William, and I had explained the full poem to you. I hope you have done the question answers on your own. I'm going to discuss this later. I'm not going to touch it now because if I say it, if I do it for you, you will be able to do everything, and then you'll say that you have done it. I want you to attempt it. It's very easy. Just go through it, and in the next class I'm going to tell you. So today what we are going to do it is we are going to go to the unit 4. The eyes have it. Okay, it's oh yes, we were on this story. Sorry. Yes, we were on this story. Eyes have it, and we were with uh, that place in the train, right? I'm so sorry, I forgot. Ruskin Bond is there in the train. He's talking about that blind person. When I say, how does a blind person behave? They have other senses through which they can retaliate and get to know people and get to interact with people. So we are in that place. I'll just repeat that where we did that. I'll just read through again, okay? So I had the train compartment to myself up to Rohana. Then a girl got in. The couple who saw her off were probably her parents. They seemed very anxious about her comfort, and the woman gave the girl detailed instructions as where to keep her things and what and not to lean out of the windows, and how to avoid speaking to strangers. They called their goodbyes and the train pulled off the station. As I was totally blind at the time, my eyes sensitive only to light and darkness, I was unable to tell what the girl looked like, but I knew she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heels. It would take me some time to discover something about her looks, and perhaps I never would because he was blind. But I liked the sound of her voice and even the sound of her slippers. Are you going all the way to Dehra? I asked. I must have been sitting in a dark corner because my voice startled her. She gave a little exclamation and said, I didn't know someone else was here. Well, it often happens that people with good eyesight fail to see what is right in front of them. He doesn't have eyes, but he knew that someone has come up and sitting in front of him, but she having eyes couldn't see him. They have too much to take in, I suppose, whereas people who cannot see or see very little have to take in only the essentials, the main parts, whatever registers most tellingly, makes it most forcefully for them to use their six senses or the other senses on their remaining senses, as I said. Okay, so I didn't see you either. I said, I heard you come in. I wondered if I would be able to prevent her from discovering that I was blind. The girl said, I am getting off at Saharanpur. My aunt is meeting me there. Then I had better not to get too familiar, I replied. Aunts are formidable. And where are you going? She asked. To Dehra and then to Mussoorie. And oh, how lucky you are. I wish you were going to Mussoorie. I love the hills, especially in October. Yes, this is the best time, I said, calling on my memories. The hills are covered with wild dahlias. The sun is delicious, and night you can sit in front of the log fire and drink little brandy. Most of the tourists have gone and the roads are quiet and almost deserted. Yes, October is the best time. She was silent. I wondered if my words had touched her or whether she thought me a romantic fool. Then I made a mistake. What is it like outside? I asked. She seemed to find nothing strange in the question. Had she noticed already that I could not see? But her next question removed my doubts. I moved easily along the berth and felt the window ledge. She actually said, why don't you look outside the window? Okay. So I moved easily along the berth and felt the window ledge. The window was open and I faced it, making a pretense as if I am able to see, studying of studying the landscape, as if you look out of the window, okay, but you're not seeing anything. I heard the panting of the engine, the rumble of the wheels, and in my mind's eye, I could see the telegraph post flashing by. I explained this last time. Have you noticed, I ventured, that the trees seem to be moving while we seem to be standing still? That always happens, she said. Do you see any animals? No, I answered quite confidently. I knew that there were hardly any animals left in the forests of Dehra. I turned from the window and faced the girl, and for a while we sat in silence. You have an interesting face, I remarked. I was becoming quite daring. But it was a safe remark. Few girls resist flattery. She laughed pleasantly, a clear ringing laugh. Means he was trying to be normal. He was trying to prove himself that he's not able to see, or rather blind, partially blind. So generally we don't compliment people, but it's good to compliment people in a better way, in the right way. You must know the way to compliment a person. If you're looking that someone is good, you don't know that person, but that person is looking good, she has a good face, or that person has a good character, or you're wearing good clothes, she's looking smart, so you must go ahead and compliment. But there are ways, you can say it as wow, you have an interesting face, your face is quite interesting, so that's very good. There's a tone of saying everything, there's an empathy you have to use. So, but she said that few girls can resist flattery. All girls like their flattery. When you talk about them, when you say good about them, girls like it. Few girls are there who don't like to be talked about, but generally girls like to be talked about. She laughed pleasantly, a clear ringing laugh. Means when a person appreciates your compliment, she'll either laugh in a nice way that she likes it, so you can take things forward, you can talk again. It's nice to be told I have an interesting face. I am tired of people telling me I have a pretty face. People call her very pretty always. She must be very good looking. So she is now giving the answers what people call her. But it's good to hear that you are saying that my face is interesting. He never said pretty face because he's not able to see. So interesting face means quite interesting. You want to know more about it because he's not able to see. Oh, so you have a pretty face, thought I. And aloud I said, well, an interesting face can also be pretty. Very nicely said. That he says, oh great, so you have a pretty face. Okay, so wow, great, it's nice, not bad. So he said aloud again, oh, so you have a pretty face, thought I. And aloud I said, again he said, well, an interesting face can also be pretty. A pretty face can be interesting, and an interesting face can also be pretty. You are a very gallant young man, she said, but why are you so serious? Gallant means you are chivalrous, you have that guts. People like when you have guts in you to talk directly. You like what you like, you just say it. Okay, so that's what she said. You are a very gallant man, but why are you so serious? I thought then I would try to laugh for her, but the thought of laughter only made me feel troubled and lonely. He thought of laughing with her, because after laughing he cannot say anything else, because if she asks something different which he's trying to hide that he's not able to see, she might get offended, that she'll think that you cannot see and you're saying that I'm interesting, I'm pretty and all that you're saying. It can go into a negative way. So, we'll be soon at your station, I said. Thank goodness, it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. Okay. Oh, she's going to Saharanpur, so Saharanpur is going to come, and he said that station is going to come soon. So she says that I don't like sitting in the train for 2 to 3 hours. If my station comes in fast, it's okay, fine. I'll get down and finish it off. Thank goodness it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. Yet I was prepared to sit there for almost any length of time, just to listen to her talking. Her voice had the sparkle of a mountain stream. As soon as she left the train, she would forget our brief encounter. but it would stay with me for the rest of the journey and for some time after. Like he was wanting to sit in this train, as long as possible, as long as she is going to be there. Her voice is so nice, as clear as sparkling water falling from the mountain stream. He's comparing her voice so clear and nice. A mountain stream which falls is very sharp, you get to hear that sound clearly, nice and clear, and that's why he's comparing it to the mountain waters. And as soon as she left, she would forget the pre-fund, or she might forget about me, but it will remember in my heart and mind throughout the train journey, and also for some time after that. This type of romantic guy. The engine's whistle shrieked, and the carriage wheels changed their sound and rhythm. The girl got up and began to collect her things. I wondered if she wore her hair in a bun or it was plaited. Perhaps it was hanging loose over her shoulders, or was it cut very short? Now he's trying to think that what's happening, what would be her hair like. Guys, boys generally love hair, the girls' hairs, and he's asking in his mind. He's not able to see, so is she got long hair, or has she got short hair? Is she tied it up on a bun, or has she got it plaited on the sides? Or is it just hanging loose over her shoulder, or cut very short? He's trying to think, because the engine whistle shrieked, and he's trying to take in as much as possible to know about her. And when the engine blows its horn, shrieks its horn, very loudly before it enters the station, and the wheels start changing their sound, their rhythm, they start screeching, and they come to a halt, and she was gathering her things. The train drew slowly into the station. Outside there was shouting of porters and vendors, and a high-pitched female voice near the carriage door. That voice must have belonged to the girl's aunt. And someone was screeching, and hey, yes, I'm here. You know what happens when people go to receive you at the station. Goodbye, the girl said. She was standing very close to me, so close that her perfume from her hair was tantalizing. I wanted to raise my hand and touch her hair, but she moved away. Only the scent of perfume lingered where she had stood. Oh, it's so nice that he's blind and he's not. I'll come back in the next video and I'll tell you.